There's a curfew? Well, yeah, of course, except for the school. They don't care if the students roam around all night, because, even mind bangs in the neck. Cora swallowed and nodded. But for locals, oh yeah. How is that a plus for them? They don't have to worry about who's safe to fight or who's not. And if you're not running around, you're at lunch. She wrote down curfew, and she turned the page and wrote down minuses for vampires. What are they afraid of? She asked. I don't think we're done with the pluses, Michael said as he sat down on the floor next to the two-girl. Well, closer to Eve, 5 minutes. Probably a lot you didn't write down. Oh, let the girl feel better about it, Eve said. It's not all gloomy. Obviously, they don't like bacon. Claire wrote it down. And garlic, silver, holy water. You sure about those? Michael asked. I always thought they were pretended. They pretended. Not a lot of that, just in case. Why would they do that? Claire answered without looking down. Because it makes it easier to hide what really can hurt them. I'm writing it down anyway, but it might not be right. Fire is for real, Mike said. I saw a vampire die once. When I was just a kid. One of those revenge deals. Eve pulled in a deep breath. Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about it. Tom Sullivan? Claire asked, wide-eyed. The vampire was named? Not the vampire. Michael said. The guy who killed him, Tommy Sullivan. He was kind of a screw-up. Drank a lot, which isn't too unusual around here. He had a kid. She died. He blamed the vampire, so he doused one with gas and set him on fire. Sitting right in the middle of the restaurant. You saw that? How old were you? You grow up fast in multiple. The point is, there was a trial the next night. Not much chance for Tommy. He was dead before morning, but fireworks. Just don't get caught. Claire wrote down fire. What about stakes? You've seen Brandon. You want to try to get close enough to stake him? Yeah, maybe. But do they work? Guess so. You have to fill out a form when you buy wood. Claire wrote it down. Crosses? Definitely. Why? Because they're evil. Soulless. Not sucking fiends? So was my 6th grade teacher, Jim, teacher. But he wasn't afraid of cross. Funny. Eve said in a way that meant not. Because there are hardly any churches, and so far as I know, crosses are impossible to come by unless you make them yourself. Also, all these guys grew up. Isn't that weird, thinking of them growing up? When religion wasn't just something you did on Sundays, it was something you were, every minute, every day. And God was always up for the recreational smiting of the wicked. No, Malcolm remarked. God's scarce enough around here. No offense to the big guy, Michael, but he made himself scarce. Ishala, you know how many nights I spend in bed praying, Dear God, please take away all the bad people. Yeah, that really worked. Michael opened his mouth to say something. Now please don't tell me God loves me. If God loved me, he'd drop us a bus ticket to Austin in my lap so I could blow this town once and for all. Eve sounded well angry. Claire tapped her pencil against the pad, not making eye contact. How do they keep people from living? She asked. They don't. Some people leave. Shane did. I think the question you're looking for is how do they keep from talking? And that's where it gets weird. That's where? Claire murmured. Eve laughed. I don't know myself because I never got out of town. But Shane says that once you get about 10 miles outside Mobile, you get this terrible headache, and then you just start to forget. First you can't remember what the name of the town was, and then you can't remember how to get there, and then you don't remember that the town had vampires. All the rules, it just doesn't exist anymore for you. But it comes back if you return to town. But when you're out, you can't run around telling all about morning, because you just don't remember. I heard rumors, Eve said. Some people start remembering, but they get... She made a graphic throat-cutting gesture. Hit squats. Claire tried to think of things that would cause that kind of memory loss. Drugs, maybe? Some kind of local energy field? Well, okay, she had no idea, but it sounded like magic, and magic made her nervous. Suppose vampires were magic too. When you got right down to it, and that made her even more nervous. Magic didn't exist. Shouldn't exist. It was just wrong. It offended her scientific training. So where does all that leave us? Michael asked. It was a reasonable question. Claire flipped another page, wrote down memory loss, staff, department, and said, I'm not sure. I mean, if we're going to put together any kind of plan, we have to basically know as much as we can to make sure it's a good enough approach. So keep talking. What else? It went on for hours. The grandfather clock solemnly announced the arrival and departure of 9 o'clock, and 10, then 11. It was nearly midnight, and Claire had scribbled up most of the ledger pages. When she looked at Michael and Eve, she asked, anything else? And got negative shakes off their heads. Okay then, tell me about the book. I don't know a lot, Eve said. They just put out a notice about 10 years ago that they were looking for it. I heard they have people all over town going through libraries, bookstores, any place it could be hidden. But the weird thing is that vamps can't actually read it. You mean it's in another language? Michael read it. I don't think it's that easy. I mean, every one of these suckers has got to speak a dozen languages at least. Dead languages, Eve said. When they looked at her, she grinned. What? Come on, funny? Maybe they can't read it for the same reason people can't remember anything outside now. But because something doesn't want them to? That's kind of a leap from the Russian judge gave you a 9.5 style, so okay, Eve said. The important thing is that we know what it looks like. Which is? Claire put her pencil to paper. A book with a brown leather cover. Some kind of symbol on the front. What kind? Because brown leather cover didn't exactly narrow things down when it came to books. Eve pushed up the sleeve of her skin-tight black mesh top and held out her forearm. There, tattooed in plain blue, was a symbol that looked kind of like an omega, only with some extra waves in it. Simple but definitely nothing. Claire could remember seeing it before. They'd been searching for it. They gave everybody growing up in a protected family the tattoo so that we remember what to look for. Claire stared for a couple of seconds, wanting to ask how old Eve was when she got the tattoo, but she didn't quite dare. She dutifully marked the symbol down in a notebook. And nobody's found it. Are they sure it's here? They seem to think so, but I'll bet they've got their sources searching all over the world for it. Seems pretty important to them. Any idea why? Nobody knows. I grew up asking. Believe me, nobody has a clue. Not even the vampires. How can they be looking for something and not even know why? I'm not saying somebody doesn't know why, but vampires have ranks, and the only ones I've ever really talked to aren't exactly in charge. Point is, we can't find out, so we shouldn't waste time worrying about it. Good to know. Claire put content, unknown next to the symbol of the book, then valuable. Underneath, underscored with 3 dark lines. So if we can find this book, we can trade it to get Monica off my back and make sure Shane's deal is called off. Mike and Lee looked at each other. Did you miss the part where the vamps had been turning Morgan upside down trying to find it? Eve asked. Claire sighed, flipping back a page and pointed at a note she made. Eve and Michael both craned over to read. Vampires can't read. They looked blank. I'm going to need to spend some time at the library. And we're going to need some supplies. To do what? Eve still wasn't catching on, but Michael was. Fake the book, she asked. You really think that'll work? What do you think happens when they figure out we cheated? Bad idea. Very bad idea. Honest. Guys, Claire said patiently, if we're careful, they'll never suspect we're smart enough to do something like that. Not to mention brave enough. So we gave them a fake. It's still more than anybody else has. They may be pissed, but they'll be pissed that somebody faked it. We just found it. They were both looking at her now, like they'd never seen her before. Michael shook his head. Bad idea. Maybe so, but she was going to try it anyway.